Life. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning from any part of the world that you are watching us live. You are welcome to Niger Data Platform Data Meetup Week 7. This is a 10-week program and we have finished 6th edition already. We are at the 7th, and in the next hour we'll be finishing the 7th edition, which means we are left with just 3 more editions. If for any reason you are just joining us or you are getting to know about this event, we have recorded all the past sessions. You can get to know all those sections through our social media platform, especially our YouTube. When you look for Nigeria Data Platform on YouTube, you get to know all the beautiful sections that we have had in the past. 4 sections per day in the last 6 weeks. So I want to welcome you to the 7th edition, where I'll be having the beautiful Olanna as our presenter. Shortly, I'll be sharing our profile. Let me quickly, before that, let me appreciate our sponsors. For this event, we have lots of sponsors. We have Enterprise DNA, we have Jerry Computer Solution Enterprise, we have Convener Technologies, we have Resolitics, we have Ferracity HICT, Ferracity House ICT, we have the big Microsoft, we have CEDA Growth Consult as our partners. All right, on my guest presenter, which is Her Excellency Chief Mrs. Olanna Ogbenna. She'll be discussing on the topic stream data with the use of Azure Stream Analytics. We have the session link on the YouTube. In case we have colleagues that you want to share the link with, you can just copy the link and they will get across to where we are. Yes, this is the profile. Just short profile of our presenter, Olanna Ogbenna. She is a certified data professional, technical lead, and trainer with experience and knowledge in data management and analytics. She has architected, modeled, developed, and deployed enterprise data solutions across various industries, which include financial services, utility services, oil and gas, and public sector. She is also a community lead. What she has not had it, I will add it. She is a speaker at different effects. Please join me in welcoming Olanna Ogbenna as our guest speaker on the subject matter for the discussion. Thank you, Olanna. You have the floor. I'll be at
All
the
right,
background.
thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Fofola. Thank you so much. I'm just going to go ahead and, great deal of introduction have been done already. I'm currently sharing my screen. Of course, I will not go into the details of introducing myself. Fofola has done a great job with that. But one thing that was left out is that Orlando loves family. She also loves joyriding and Christmas holidays. Uh, I'll just go straight. We've also appreciated our sponsors, so I'll just go straight to the agenda. So basically, I'll be talking on this is essentials for data engineering, and today we'll be looking at stream analytics. And on our agenda, we have analytics generally. We're just going to briefly define, not do like a drill down into it. We're going to look at traditional analytics in the modern day, what was and what is currently. Introduction to Azure Stream Analytics. We're also going to be looking at, which is why we're here today, actually. Then we're going to briefly be looking at the architecture, handling time in Azure Stream Analytics. How do we work with different time? I mean, it is real time data analysis. So how do we manage it? Right. So just going to be looking at a couple of options. Then of course we'll go straight into a demo session. These demo sessions was gotten off of Microsoft documentation. I was excited when I saw this because it literally speaks to everything that I want to communicate today. The link is going to be shared so that you can basically just grab it, drill down, and get this done end to end for yourself. Pretty simple, pretty easy, and straightforward. Moving forward, I'll just, get right into it. So first, what is analytics, right? When we talk about analytics, analytics is the discovery and communication of meaningful patterns in our data. We have data, we have insights, we also have advanced analytics. I did mention that we'll be talking about what analytics was and what it is going to be moving forward. Analytics often favors data visualization to communicate insights. So, of course, you get this streaming data, fast incoming data. How do you communicate the insights of your data? Is basically through visualization of your data. And this definition is basically gotten off of Wikipedia. So there are different kinds of analytics, and we're not going to go into that. We're just going to go into what it was and what it is currently. So we have the traditional analytics. We basically deals with data at rest. When we talk about batch processing, everything around us produces data from our devices, from sensors, infrastructures, applications that we use in our workplace, on our phones, social media. Everything basically produces data. Traditional business intelligence first collects data and analyzes it afterwards. You get this data, you store it somewhere, then you analyze it. It could be a day difference, it could be weekly, it could be monthly, it could be quarterly, it could even be yearly. But currently, we live in a fast paced world where people look at real time data in social media. When you chat, when you tweet, when you do stuff, you want to get in real time. You want to get information real time. You don't want to wait till tomorrow. You don't want to wait till next week to know what's going on. You have internet of things. You control basically literally everything in your house using electronics, using computers, and you want to be able to issue commands to those applications, to those sensors, and you want to get feedback real time. You want to know when it's cold, you want to know when it's hot, you want to know in within a space of maybe 5 minutes, in seconds, in even nanoseconds. Then there is offline data. Offline data is really not useful to us right now, right? That's why we are looking at analytics in the modern world, which is real time. We basically work with streaming data. We want to monitor and analyze data in near real time, typically a few seconds or up to maybe few minutes latency, not a full day, 24 hours. So we don't have the time to stop, copy data or to analyze and analyze. We just want, real time streaming data as it's happening. We want feedback. We want insight into either our businesses or happenings in our surrounding, right? And what makes this one of the solutions or tools or technologies, any nomenclature you want to use, that literally makes this happen is Azure Stream Analytics. Now, what is Azure Stream Analytics?
Uh, wow. You are welcome back.
Oh my, when was I disconnected? I had no idea.
Um, can you still see your slide?
No, I cannot see my slide.
Okay. Can you upload your slide again? Can you share your
Wow.
slide again?
Oh, okay, okay. I would I would go ahead and do that. I've actually
Sorry.
gotten to the end of my. But can you let me know where I was disconnected?
Just upload your slide. Let me check from your slide.
Share screen. I was trying to take it back because I mean I'd already gotten to.
Okay. So you are the I think a slide after this.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. I had actually gone past. I've finished my slides and I wanted to go straight into the demo.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I apologize.
It
So let me
happens.
just,
It's
yeah,
a
I'm just
technique.
going to quickly run through the slides because I really need us to do something on the demo before we end the session. I apologize. So I
Yeah.
basically just
You're welcome.
talked
You're welcome.
about
Yeah.
basically just talked about analytics in the modern day. So instead of having to focus on traditional analytics that basically just looks at visualizing existing data from previous day, we're going to look at analyzing real-time data, working with streaming data. We want to monitor, analyze data in real time. So we don't have the time to stop and copy or analyze the data. We basically just in real time, just streaming Azure Stream data set to basically stream our data into life. I don't want to wait to the next day or the next hour. I want to see it on real time. I want to know what's happening in my environment, either on social media, either from any device I'm connected to. And one thing that we're sure is going to help us achieve that is Azure Stream Analytics. Right? Azure Stream Analytics is a fully managed stream processing engine that is designed to analyze and process large volumes of data. Azure Stream Analytics is cost effective in events and it's cost effective in event processing. Basically, it uses a SQL-like syntax when you are querying and reporting on your data. So when we look at the landscape, the IoT landscape, from left to right, we see our devices, the device connectivities that are available, Event Hub, Service Bus, the IoT Hub. We're basically going to be using the Event Hub for our demo. We have different storage options and different analytics options. Stream analytics is what our focus is for today. So there are different process when you want to analyze your data. Either you're using the batch process or real time. So we're going to focus on the real time. So we will not need any storage to store our data because we want to see it in real time as it occurs. Then, of course, presentation and action. I did mention earlier that for the reason why we basically do the whole analytics, we don't want to just analyze data and keep it in storage. We want to analyze and visualize. So for our visualization, of course, we're going to be leveraging Power BI. When we look at the image we have our event hub. First, we have our event producers, right? Whatever application, infrastructure, machine that you're connected to, we have the event hub, and we have the consumer groups. We're going to be creating one of those as well. Then, of course, our event processor. Um, this is a 10-week program, and this is week 7. We've learned a lot before now. Machine learning is one of them. You might want to ask what's the difference between machine learning and Azure Stream Analytics. Well, we have a couple of differences on our screen. For Stream Analytics, we use that to transform, enrich, correlate. Also, use the SQL-like language to select. Then for machine learning, we have regression, classification, and anomaly detection. Apologies, I'm going to be real quick so we could get into the demo. A little more on stream analytics. It take millions of events per record. Scale accommodates variable loads and preserves even older one in every devices, performs continuous real-time analytics for transforming arguments, correlating using temporal operations. This allows pattern and anomaly detection. These are a couple of more advantages or features of stream analytics. Then, of course, we'll look at the canonical diagram quickly. It's similar to the diagram I showed earlier. We have our events producers, we have the collection, ingestion via Event Hub, stream analysis, storage, we will not be leveraging that, like I mentioned. But when you're looking at batch processing, of course, you can leverage one of these storage options, then presentation using Power BI, or you could use an application, depends on how you want to consume your data. We're going to also look at the different modes we can work with time on stream analytics. So we have three major ones. I'll briefly talk on them. Have the tumbling window, the hopping window, and the sliding window. Amongst the three of them, a tumbling window does not overlap. We could see from the image at the bottom from 0 to 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 10. You do not have events repeating in different windows. Whereas our hopping and sliding windows basically overlap, and we could see from the diagram how this basically happens. During our demo session, we're going to be using one of these windows. So let's just keep that image somewhere in your head. So in our demo session, we're going to analyze fraudulent call data with stream analytics and visualize results using Power BI. We'll be generating sample for call data. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a very simple demo off of Microsoft documentation. The link will be shared so that you can literally do this on your own. Let me just be sure I'm still here. Okay, yeah, I'm still here. You can literally do this on your own when this link is shared, but we're going to quickly run through it. You're going to create a stream analytics job, configure the inputs and the output of that job, define queries to filter fraudulent calls, test and start the job. We're also going to be visualizing using Power BI. So I'm going to jump straight into the demo. Let me share my portal. And before we can there are a couple of requirements, right? Before we could get to do this, of course, we would need to have an Azure subscription. If you don't have an Azure subscription, on the link that we'll share, you would get a link there to create a free account. We're going to download the phone call events generator app. So I am not using like a real application or machine. I am going to be simulating this. The app tool is there. You can use the link to download the app. Then, of course, you need Power BI accounts, Azure Power BI accounts for you to do your visualization. So I will just share my browser. I am currently signed into Azure. Okay, just to make this real quick, I have an event hub already, but I can walk you through how we created the event hub. I have this on my screen because it's something I used recently, right? If you're creating this for the first time, you can come to the search bar, search for event hub. Just do event hub. So this is it. I can click on my event hub, then I click on create. If you have an existing event hub, of course, you're going to have it here, an existing namespace. Your namespace is just like, I would say your workspace where you can have multiple event hub. So I already have one event hub that I created earlier, but if you were to create a new one, you just click on create and you have a few things that you just basically have to supply. Say create. So your subscription, like I said, you need an Azure subscription. Your resource group, if you have a resource group, you select your resource group. If you do not have an existing resource group, you can go ahead to create one. You give your namespace a name. I can say test name space. Then select. Okay. Then you select your location, whatever region. I'm sure we must have been familiar with this. For those of us that are joining in for the first time, there are a couple of other videos introductive videos, right, that you can basically look at to understand what our regions are. So you can select a region that is closest to your location. Select a pricing tier, and I can use the minimum throughput. Then I can go ahead to create. Like I said, I already have an event hub, so we don't, because this is going to take a minute to 3 to 5 minutes to create. So I'm just going to use the already existing event hub that I have. Yep, and first. So I'll just go ahead to open this phone call event hub. The next thing that you would do, this is our namespace, right? From our namespace, we ought to create an event hub. Then I come here, I have an event hub, but if you're to create a new event hub, I mean, like I said, we have our namespace like our workspace ish. Then we can have multiple event hub within the namespace. So I can just create a new event hub. I just give it a name, then go ahead to create, leave my partition, and just leave everything at default because I want to basically use the minimum. So this is the event hub that I have. So I would open my event hub. When I open my event hub, one thing is really critical, granting access to the event hub and get a connection string before an application can send data to the event hub. The event hub must have a policy that allows access. The access policy produces a connection string that includes authorization information. So it's not magic. You need to grant access to your event hub or to the application you're pushing data from, right? So in order to do that, I have opened my event hub. Then I would basically just come to shared access policy and create a policy. When you create a policy, you just give it a policy name and make sure the manage option is checked because you're going to use this to manage connection. So I'll just cancel this, right? And I'm going to be using my policy. So if I open my policy, you would see that I have these connection keys. So what I am going to do is copy my primary key out because this is what I need to use to give my application access to my stream, to my event hub, basically. So I copy this, I just paste that in a notepad, right? Then I would go and start up my application. So let me open a notepad so that we can basically just see this. It can be a bit tricky when we're doing it so that we do not run into a lot of issues while doing that. I can paste this here. So this is basically what I am going to need. I will also show us the application that I downloaded. Let me just confirm. Um, okay, yeah, I'm still here. I want to show us the application I downloaded. So when you download the application, this is what you're going to get, the folder, the telco generator folder. I open it, I'm going to locate my telco datagen.exe.config file. When I open this file, no, I don't want it to open as a Visual Studio file. I want a text pad. Open with Notepad. I'm going to drag this here to my screen. So this is basically what it looks like. And what do I need? I need my connection string. I need to give access. So this is connection string that I have, right? So first I am going to give access to my entity path. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it here. So you see, we already have it here, right? So if when you create yours, you're just going to copy your entity path and replace it with what we have here. Replace the event hub name value here. Then the second thing we're going to do is the Microsoft service bus connection string. This you're going to also replace it. So what am I replacing it with? When I come to my key, I'm going to copy all the way down here just before the entity path. Remember, we've used the entity path before in our event hub name, so we're not going to be copying that again. So I'm going to copy it up onto this part. Remember not to add the semicolon and the entity path. So when I copy this, I would come here and paste. You see, I already have it here. If you notice, I do not have the entity path, just the rest of the key. So what I will do now is save this, then open command prompts. Let me see. I know this is a lot, but when you run through this demo yourself, it will be pretty much easy and straightforward. Okay, so I will just basically come to my command prompts. What do I do here? I just navigate to the path where I have my application. I'll just cd to that path where I have my application. So let me just copy my application path now. I have this. So I'll just okay. Then I will run my application. So this script I'm using to run my application is still there within the link. You'll get everything there. And when I start my application is running. It is generating. It's more or less like simulating users making calls, right, from different regions. So it's going to generate thousands of records, different calls coming in from different numbers from different locations. So how do I know that a particular call is fraudulent? That is what we're going to do. So you see, it's really fast. So all of this data is going to be coming in through our stream analytics. So while this is running, we're going to go back to the Azure portal. So we're done with our event hub. We've created our event hub, we've created our policy, we've given access to our application. Our application is currently running. So now we're just going to go to stream analytics. Let me go back a bit. The time is fast spent. So I wish I had time to recreate this, but I'll just show us how all of this is done. So this is our stream analytics. Three major things we need to do: create an input, create a consumer group, and create an output, right? So we have our streaming. The same way we created the event hub, we can come here and search for stream analytics jobs. This is stream analytics job. Just create a new one. You're just going to supply the name, select a resource group like we did in the event hub, and some of the other configuration. This is a demo. You can just basically leave it at the minimum. So we're here, our input now. I'll just go to my input. We have an input here, but if you want to create a new input, you come down here and create event hub. You know, we're pushing this from event hub. I click on event hub. I'm just going to put my input alias, all input. Then my subscription is populated for me already. My namespace is here. If I have multiple namespace, then I will select the one I want to use. Then I have the event hub name, which is this. For event hub consumer group, it is always advisable for each job create a new consumer so there is no mix up. So I created one consumer before now. Okay, let me see, use existing. I don't want to use default. I want to use the core events group. But I'm going to show us how to create the consumer. Expectation is just to supply your consumer name, but you're going to create that in the event hub. Our authentication mode is going to be connection string. When we select connection string, It's going to give you the option to select your policy, right? Use existing policy. So I have my policy that I created earlier. So if you want to create a new policy, of course, you create a new policy. If you have a new application, you can create a new policy for that application. If you have multiple applications that are running concurrently. So I still want to use this application, and I can basically just leave every other thing as default. Go ahead to save. When I save this, it's going to create another input. But I have the input that I want to use, which is called stream input. Then we can go back to our event hub, create a consumer group, and come down here to create our outputs. Our output is Power BI. I'm going to show us how we do that. If I come here and click on add, these are several outputs that we can basically have. I mentioned earlier you can, choose to put it in a storage. You could see we have the data lake storage in one. We have SQL database, we have table storage for us to archive this data, but we want to stream it directly to Power BI because as this data is coming in, we want to be able to get the data, we want to be able to visualize it real time, see our results. We don't want to store it and analyze later. So we'll click on Power BI. When we click on Power BI, all we need to do is basically just authorize the name of your output name. Let's say call output. Um, Within your Power BI, Power BI service, you have what is called a workspace. So, which workspace do you want to push your data set to? Which workspace do you want to create your report in? You basically just select that workspace. Data set name, I name my data set Power BI data set, then my table, calls table, then I can literally go ahead to save. It's giving me the option to just go ahead to save because I'd already signed in, I'd already authorized it. So if you had not authorized, this is your first time doing this, it's going to request that you authorize. You click on authorize, supply your username and password. It has to be a work or school username and password that has access to Power BI. You use that to authorize and you can save your your output. So I'm just going to use the output that we have here. Let me click on this. Then we can see the workspace that I published this to. It's called test. Authentication is our user token. I do not want to renew authorization, right? This still works for me. Then I can go ahead to cancel this. So what next are we going to do? We're just going to go to Power BI and visualize. But before we do that, we need to make sure our stream job is running. So I'm going to come to the overview page and run our stream job. Uh, okay. Okay, let me see why this isn't. So on the overview, we'll have the option to start or stop our job. So let's just give this a minute to load. Then we can basically just start our job. So our job is stopped, so we can go ahead to click on start. This takes a minute. So once it starts running, we'll see our output in our output data set in Power BI. I'm trying to look at where I have signed into my Power BI so I can basically just show us what the output looks like. Hi, good afternoon. Okay, so let me get this tab. I'm not sure why this is. Okay, great. So I'll just come here. Remember, we have this in uh, test workspace. So I'll just come and look for tests. When you look for tests, you're going to have to look for the data set. So when we come here, we'll see our data set. In as much as you created the data set and you publish it, right? When you come to Power BI, you would see your data set here. Ordinarily, there shouldn't be a dashboard. This dashboard was created by me. You're just going to see a data set, and that's it. Then you can use your data set to create different reports. So if I come to view, let me see now. Okay, no, I need to 1 minute. I just want to see if I can show us how we created this, the dashboard that we have here already. But let's check if it's still starting. So we need this to start so that we can see the results of the application we're currently running. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, so our job is running. Before we even go to Power BI, let's look at our accounts. Okay, we have some here. Let me go ahead to refresh this and see if. Okay, so we're not getting it here currently. It's streaming, it's live. When we go to Power BI, we're not going to see the difference. So we need to even see the change here. Then we can go to Power BI and refresh. So while that is happening, right, we're going to come to our data sets here. Then we are going to, let me see, what's the end of this? Go to, okay, this is our dashboard. No, I wanted us to create a new dashboard. Okay. Let me see. Fraudulent calls and create. Then we come to editor. So we want to add a real-time data. So we do this as streaming data sets. Of course, as a stream. Oh, am I doing something wrong? Just 1 minute. Let me go to edit. We're adding a new tile. Okay. Okay, this is our data set. Yeah, we're going to select a card first. Select one of the column for the lens calls and click on next. Say total fraudulent calls. We already have stuff coming in. Then click on OK. So we have a card already. So this is the total fraudulent calls that we have so far. So if I want to, you see it's refreshing in real time. If it sees a fraudulent call, it basically just refreshes. Apologies, I didn't get to show us the query that is actually generating this. What the query does is, we have an application that is generating different calls. So it's more or less like um, MTN wants to be able to track fraudulent calls, right? They want to be able to know who is a true caller, who is not. If a person, so we have calls coming in from different locations, and we did talk about how we can manage our time in stream analytics. So what we did was use a tumbling window of 6 seconds, 5 seconds interval to say, okay, we want to be able to tell for a particular number, for a particular caller, we want to look at the different regions, the different locations this caller is calling from. If Olanna is in Lagos and this minute I make a call from Lagos, the next minute the application or the streaming data set notice that the second call I made within a 5 seconds interval or within a minute interval came from the UK. Olanna cannot be in Lagos and in London at the same time. So it's going to flag that as a fraudulent call, and it happens real time. I am not going to archive this data and say, oh, I want to see the total number of fraudulent calls that we had yesterday. We had 20 fraudulent calls. Drill down and let's see which numbers made these fraudulent calls. I mean, it has happened since yesterday. If this was someone that was planning a coup, that wanted to kill someone, that wanted to steal or commit a crime, the person had already done that and disappeared. But now we are seeing it real time. We are monitoring it real time. If there is one fraudulent call, I want to be able to know that there's a fraudulent activity going on. I want to be able to trace it. I want to be able to track it. If there are 50 fraudulent calls, I want to have agents that are on ground that are analyzing and getting down and looking at where how is this happening. Olana cannot be in Kano and be in Bayelsa at the same time. How come she's making two different calls from these locations within a 5 seconds interval, right? So we can also go ahead to add another tag next, and basically let me
Ol-
just
Olanna,
yeah, hi, I know times.
you have 5 minutes
Oh,
more.
all right. So
Yeah, thank you.
we created a dashboard before now. So let me just go back to that, right? So you can see in real time. You can see in real time, in 10 minutes interval, you could see the number of fraudulent activities, the fraudulent calls that we have going on. So you can basically monitor in real time. It is not yesterday's data, it is not last week data. It is data for today. It is not data for the previous hour. It is data for this hour. It is data for now. So you're able to track activities. You're able to track your machines. You're able to track your ACs. You're able to track whatever device that you have your sensors connected to or that you have connected to your event hub to get and analyze this data. So basically, this is what we have on Stream Analytics. Um, so I don't know, Popular, can we share the link with them right now so that they're able to try this on their own?
Okay, can you share it on the private chat so that I copy it to the comments?
Okay, great. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna do that now. Mm, okay, right, chat. Okay, so I have it there already.
All right, I have it. I'll just drop
Okay,
it on
so
the.
that is the Microsoft documentation that basically takes us through this demo end to end. Just make sure that you have an Azure subscription. Make sure that you have access to Power BI account. And what else? I think basically that's it. And you can just download the um, the code generator application. You're able to run this on your own, track it real time. As you can see, my screen is still changing, it's still getting more data, and it's still sensing a lot of fraudulent activities ongoing. So thank you so much. I hope we get to try this, and please let me know if we have any issues, any way we can, support. Of course, I'll be happy to. Paula, I think I'm done now.
Wow!
I've
Wow!
colored the
Wow! Wow!
so much
Wow! Wow!
time.
Wow! 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 Thank you, Olana. Thank you for giving us this eye-opening section. Uh, last week we had issues with network, and when it was about to start this time around, we said it will not work.
Like I had no idea that I'd been disconnected. Really,
Yeah, sorry about that.
I just kept talking.
So sorry about that. It happens. It happens. And our apologies once again to our audience in Nigeria and across the world that you are watching this session, or people that will be watching the recorded version. So Olanna has been able to take us the rudiment of Azure Stream Analytics, where she started from the difference between the traditional and modern world in terms of analytics. She introduced us to Azure Stream, and she went ahead to let us know the architecture of Azure Stream, and thereafter handling time, because time is of great value when we are talking about streaming. We are talking about live data. As they come, we are processing them, not in batches, but as they come, we are processing, which means the time is of essence. So the time is of essence, and that is how she has taken us through what the handling of time is in terms of Azure Stream Analytics. She went ahead to let us know a demo to have a feeling that how does the end, how does the back end works in terms of live streaming, or in terms of what stream analytics. So where she talked about Azure Event Ops and Streams Analytics. I want to thank you that you are able to take us this far, despite the fact that we had challenges with network. So
Yeah.
it has been a great one, and I know the audience too. They were patient enough with you, likewise, every one of us. That look, what you are bringing on board, we must enjoy it. You can't go away with that kind of delivery. So we want to thank you once again for your time, for your perseverance, for your doggedness. That look, this thing must hold and it must go to the world. So it has gone to the world, and the world will get to appreciate your efforts. Thank you, Olanna, for coming on board, and we
Thank
also
you.
thank you for giving us the best. So, dear audience, until next time, when we'll be bringing on board another section, mind you, from my introduction, this is the seventh edition, which means we have had six editions in the past, and this is adding to it, making seventh. So we are left with 3 more weeks. So this event, Niger Data Platform, is a 10-week event. So we are done with week 7. So week 8, week 9, and week 10, they'll be in the subsequent editions. We want you to stay tuned with us. And if you have missed any of these sections, kindly go to our YouTube page. Just search for Niger Data Platform on YouTube, and you get to know about the previous editions. Until next time, when we come your way, we want to thank you for being part of the success story. Thank you, and God bless. Alana, thank you
Thank
so much for having
you.
you on board. All
Thank
right, thank
you.
you so
Thanks
much.
for having me.
Thank you so much.